You look around the village and you feel like you are losing your mind. You are hunting longer hours, you are carrying heavier loads, and you are doing exactly what the elders told you to do. But every time you try to buy a comfortable cave for your family, the price has doubled. You look at your pile of shells, and it never seems to be enough. Meanwhile, you see another group of villagers people who do not seem to be working any harder than you on. They are feasting on mammoth every single night. You are not crazy. The rules of the game have been violently changed. Welcome to Caveman Cash. I am Brock, and today we are going to look into the abyss. We are going to talk about the great financial earthquake of our time. The shiny suit men call it a K-shaped recovery. I call it the K-shaped cleaver. A massive, heavy stone blade has dropped down from the sky, and it has chopped the modern tribe completely in half. The middle class is dead. The safe path is gone. The ground is splitting, and right now, you are being forced to choose a side. If you do not understand the physics of this split, you are going to fall into the darkness. Let us go back to the world you were born into. For generations, there was a sacred promise in the village. It was called the middle class. The chiefs stood around the fire and said, "If you are a good villager, if you gather your berries quietly, and if you do not cause any trouble, we will guarantee you a comfortable life. You did not have to be a warlord. You did not have to be a master hunter. You just had to show up, trade your time for a steady paycheck of shells, and eventually you would be able to buy a warm cave, raise your children, and retire in peace." It was a beautiful story, and for a little while it was true. But that world does not exist anymore. It has been completely erased. The middle class was a temporary luxury. It was a bridge between the poor and the rich, built on a growing economy and affordable resources. But in the year 2026, that bridge has collapsed. The cost of basic survival has become so heavy that the bridge simply snapped under the weight. You can feel it, cannot you? You can feel the panic in the air. The gatherers who thought they were safe in the middle are suddenly realizing that they are one bad winter away from losing everything. The shiny suit men will try to tell you that the economy is booming. They will point to their glowing digital charts and say, "Look at the stock market. Look at the gross domestic product. We are richer than ever," and they are telling the truth. The tribe is richer than ever, but the wealth is no longer being shared. It is being violently separated by the cleaver. Imagine the letter K carved into a massive stone wall. It has one line pointing straight up to the sky and one line pointing straight down into the dirt. The line pointing up is the first half of the new economy. These are the asset owners. These are the hunters who realized that trading time for shells is a losing game. So they stopped working for the chiefs and they started owning the things the chiefs need. They own the land, they own the businesses, they own the real estate. They own the magical new tools of technology and artificial intelligence. When the chiefs print billions of new paper shells out of thin air, that money does not go to the gatherers. It flows directly into the assets. It flows into the stock market. It flows into the price of real estate. The people on the upward arm of the K do not rely on a salary. Their wealth is tethered to the infinite printing press. As the currency loses its value, their assets simply demand more currency. They are riding a massive, unstoppable wave of tech-driven productivity. They have machines and algorithms doing the work of 1,000 gatherers, and they are keeping all the extra mammoth meat for themselves. They are ascending into a level of wealth and freedom that the ancient kings could never even dream of. But then, there is the line pointing down into the dirt. This is the second half of the economy. This is where the gatherers live. This is where the wage earners are trapped. If you are on the downward arm of the K, your life is a constant grinding nightmare of shrinking purchasing power. You do not own assets. You only own your time, and you are trying to sell your time to the chiefs in exchange for a fixed number of shells. But here is the brutal, unforgiving math of the cleaver. Your wages are moving at the speed of a walking man, but the cost of your survival is moving at the speed of a galloping horse. The absolute heaviest burden crushing the downward arm of the K is the cost of shelter, the cave. In the old world, a gatherer could work for a few years, save up a small pile of shells, and buy a permanent home. Today, the asset owners on the upward arm of the K have bought all the caves. The massive institutional funds, the shiny suit men, they looked at the map and realized that shelter is the ultimate leverage. People have to live somewhere. So, they bought the land, and they are renting it back to the gatherers at absolute maximum capacity. You are trapped in a vice. The cost of your shelter requires 60, sometimes 70% of your entire harvest. By the time you pay for your cave, pay for your food, and pay the taxes to the chiefs, your magic pouch is completely empty. You have absolutely no seed corn left to plant. You cannot invest. You cannot buy assets. You are literally just working to pay the landlord and the grocery merchant week after week until you die. And do not look to the new technology to save you. The elders talk about the great wave of artificial intelligence. They say it will make everything cheaper and easier. They are lying. Technology does not liberate the wage earner, it replaces them. Or worse, it turns them into a hyper-efficient machine that is expected to produce twice as much work for the exact same amount of shells. If you are a gatherer, this tech wave is not your friend. It is the tool the chiefs are using to make your labor less valuable. Why would a chief pay you a high salary to manage the inventory, or write the scrolls, or do the basic tasks of the village when a glowing box of lightning can do it in 2 seconds for free? The tech wave is the engine powering the upward arm of the K. The people who own the code, the people who own the platforms, the people who leverage the technology to build businesses, they are experiencing a golden age of limitless leverage. But the people who are just showing up to do a job, they are being commoditized. They are being pushed further and further down the line into the dirt. The middle class was built on the idea that your labor was scarce and valuable. In 2026, average labor is no longer scarce. It is abundant, it is easily replaced, and it is entirely at the mercy of the asset owners. You cannot stand in the middle anymore. The ground has opened up beneath your feet. If you try to cling to the old idea of the middle class, if you try to just be a good employee, save your 10%, and hope the chiefs take care of you, you are going to fall into the chasm. You will become a permanent renter, a permanent subscriber, a permanent peasant in a high-tech feudal society. You have to choose a side, and there is only one side that leads to survival. You must become an asset owner. You must claw your way onto the upward arm of the K, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how much sacrifice it takes in the short term. You have to stop thinking like a gatherer who just wants a higher wage. A higher wage will never outpace the cost of the cave. You have to start thinking like a hunter who wants a piece of the territory. You have to acquire equity. If you are working for a business, figure out how to own a piece of it, or learn the skills to start your own. If you have any excess capital at all, do not spend it on the little treats we talked about. Take those shells and buy a fraction of the stock market. Buy an income-producing asset, partner with other hunters, and buy a piece of real estate so you are on the receiving end of the rent, not the paying end. You must align your wealth with the money printers, not against them. When the chiefs print more shells, you want to be holding the hard assets that go up in price, not the paper currency that goes down in value. The K-shaped cleaver is brutal. It is unfair. It is destroying families and tearing the modern tribe apart. I am not here to tell you that it is right. I am here to tell you that it is happening, and the chiefs are not going to save you. They are the ones holding the cleaver. The era of playing it safe is over. The comfortable middle cave has been demolished. You are either the owner or you are the owned. You are either riding the tech wave or you are drowning beneath it. Wake up, look at the reality of the board. Stop begging the chiefs for a better wage and start hunting for ownership. Start building your portfolio of assets with the desperate intensity of a man whose life depends on it. Because in this new economy, it absolutely does. If you want to learn how to cross the chasm, how to acquire the assets that the rich use to protect themselves, and how to survive the great split of the modern tribe, hit the subscribe button. Join the tribe. We do not do safe here. We do freedom. I am Brock. This is Caveman Cash. Now go hunt.